Good afternoon, and welcome to the regular board meeting of the Pittsburgh Land Bank, our last for this year, December 8th, 2023. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Emily Kalchak, the Assistant Manager of the Pittsburgh Land Bank, and I will be calling today's roll. Reverend Ricky Burgess.
Here.
Dr. Jamil Bey.
Here.
Councilman Daniel Lavelle.
Here.
Councilman Bobby Wilson.
Here.
Director Karen Breen.
Here.
Director Steve Mazza. And Director Wanda Wilson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think that takes us to our public comment. If you wish to speak during public comment, please raise your hand. Please use the raise a hand function at the bottom of the webinar controls menu. Please begin with your name, address, or neighborhood, or your organization affiliation. Each speaker has 3 minutes to address the board. First speaker, please.
All right, and this is Sally Stadelman, manager of the Pittsburgh Land Bank. It does not appear that we have any speakers in our attendees section at this time. All right, yes, I see no hands raised, so back to you, Chair.
All right, and so the next thing is the announcement of board departures.
Yeah, and we'll start here with you, Chairman Burgess. We wanted to take a moment to thank you so much for what I believe is 9 years of service to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. It's really been a pleasure working with you and the staff of your office, especially Marita Bradley, your chief of staff, this past year. And we just have greatly appreciated your time and your leadership on this really important program.
Thank you.
All right, and you're welcome to take this one or me. If you want to talk about Dr. Bey, but we received a letter of resignation for Dr. Jamil Bey, who has also served on the Land Bank Board for, I believe, almost 9 years. Also wanted to take a moment to thank him for his years of time and service and his really lovely letter of resignation. Dr. Bey will be staying with us until we find a replacement or at the end of the March board meeting, whichever comes first. And so we do want to announce this position is elected by the membership of the Pittsburgh Land Bank Board of Directors. And so we will be posting an application online on the Pittsburgh Land Bank's website, and we'll be collecting applications. So we'll be returning to the board with those applications and probably proposing to create a committee to review them. And then the board will be able to vote on who will fill this seat. And we have 3 seats on our board that follow that process.
Thank you. It was time well served.
Thank you, Dr. Bey.
Again, that takes us to our minutes. I need a motion to approve the November 2023 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any conversation? Hearing no conversation, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. That brings us to the acceptance of our November 2023 financial and the monthly approval of expenditures. I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report and expenditures.
So move.
Second.
Any conversation? No conversation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Okay, that takes us to the URA administrative fund invoice. I need a motion to approve the URA administrative revolving fund invoice for the fourth quarter.
So move.
Second.
Any conversation? See no conversation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. It takes us to the staff updates.
Thank you, Chairman Burgess. Again, Emily Kalchak, Assistant Manager of the Pittsburgh Land Bank. I'll be giving the first staff update at today's public meeting on the Pittsburgh Property Reserve Donation Agreement. As a reminder to board members and the public, the Land Bank entered into this agreement with the city and a third-party law firm in December of 2022. 57 properties in the city's inventory slated for community development corporations were a part of this agreement to receive quiet title services paid for by the Pittsburgh Land Bank. To date, we have 47 properties that have a final order to quiet title with the courts. We have a number of properties that have successfully been sold to our CDC buyers, and an even larger number that are ready for sale from the city's inventory. Of these properties, a small number still has service in process with their quiet title action, but we expect that shortly all of the original properties will soon have clear and insurable title and ready to be purchased from the city's inventory and put back to productive reuse. I'll pause for any questions from the board.
Next, a brief update on the properties approved by this board in November to be requested from the city's inventory. These properties went before City Council at Standing Committee this past Wednesday and were approved unanimously to come to the Land Bank Board. We had 201 and 205 Glen Calda were held back and will be before City Council next week. So we're projecting these properties to be arriving in our inventory, hopefully by the end of January of 2024. There's there are a long list, 25 properties in total. Yes, here we are. And so we expect them to arrive in January. And then of course we will then begin the process of quieting title on these properties. And then several of the structures that we've been requesting will be part of our pilot stabilization program with our partner, the Pittsburgh Housing and Development Corporation and Rising Tide Partners. We wanted to take a moment to highlight some positive press coverage that the Pittsburgh Land Bank has received. The Mayor Gainey's office organized a press conference to celebrate the passage of the amendments to MICTL, the Municipal Claims and Tax Lien Law, that helped to expedite the share sale process that the Land Bank hopes to be accessing in 2024. So we did receive coverage from Channel 11 News, as well as coverage in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, entitled "A Year of Success." Oh, what a great, what a refreshing headline. And I'll also mention here as well that we did just complete our first capital budget hearing this morning at 10 a.m. So we will send out a link if board members would like to watch that hearing. And I want to thank Councilman Lavelle and Councilman Wilson for attending this morning and your excellent support and questions and commitment to finding future funding for the Pittsburgh Land Bank.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson.
As a final staff update, the URA and therefore the PLB's offices will be closed for the holidays from December 25th up until January 1st. We will also be working remotely the week following that New Year holiday, but still working and accessible to the public and to board members.
And let me pause right here too. We had this on our transitional slide, but I do want to mention as well that when we return from the holidays, January 12th is the Land Bank's annual meeting. And so part of what we'll need to accomplish at that annual meeting is electing new officers to the board. All right, back to you, Chairman.
Okay, I suppose that we need three things. First, we need a signature authorization. To explain what that is, Sally?
Yes, so with the change and the holidays coming up, we wanted to propose to the board waiving section 2 and authorizing all of our current board officers to sign all contracts, deeds, and other documents related to our real estate sales. And so this is primarily to make sure that we're rapidly approaching many of our closings of the properties that we've approved from our October board meeting coming from the URA. Just want to bring some flexibility to make sure we have someone available to sign those documents and we don't hold up any of our sales.
I need a motion to approve.
So move.
A second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed is nay. Okay.
All right, next up we have our annual report. So this is a requirement in the municipal ordinance authorizing the land bank is that we are to submit an annual report to city council, and they need to fill out some data requirements to include in that report. So I'm going to turn it over to Emily to just give us some highlights from the annual report. And then we're looking for an approval from the board so that we can submit that pending some formatting. We're going to add a few more pictures and graphics, and then we'll be submitting that to city council by December 31st and also publishing it on the land bank website.
Okay, thank you, Sally. I just want to outline a few of the key items in our annual report, which is available for board members in the shared drive. Like Sally said, we have requirements to submit an annual report, but since our strategic plan in 2018, this has been 2023, the first year that we have created and are preparing to submit an annual report of the land bank's current activities. Among some of our successes of this year were marching properties through the land bank's competitive and non-competitive disposition processes and working through our intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the city and the URA, as well as our memorandum of understanding between the URA for property transfers. We've also helped to pay for services to quiet title on properties in the city's inventory and updated a number of our contracts. I'll highlight some of our sections in the annual report as we have some of our goals and priorities all the way from 2018, which still guide our work today in 2023 and will continue to guide that work in 24 and 25 and the years moving forward. We have our accomplishments overview, and we have some of our criteria for both our non-competitive and competitive process. We were able to sell our first property in Mount Washington, 6 Boggs Avenue, through the land bank's competitive process, which was shortly followed by 2 successful sales in Larimer of 243 Meadow and Flowers Avenue in Hazelwood through our non-competitive processes. And I would just like to thank this board as well as the land bank staff because although we have a number of guiding documents for the land bank, this is the first time that we've worked through our sales process. And while very rewarding, it was also very challenging. And so I'm very pleased to present this report, pleased that it's up for a vote today and to see the progress that the land bank has made this year alone and is projected to make in the coming years.
Thank you very much. Need a motion?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Any conversation? No conversation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nay? All right, and then I think it is the budget. I need a motion to approve the budget.
So moved.
Is second.
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 Any conversation? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Okay, next. Order of business is updates.
All right, and finally, we'll end on what will likely be a monthly reminder for much of 2024 is that the Pittsburgh Land Bank, our next big step to really make this tool as powerful and effective as possible is executing an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the Pittsburgh Land Bank, Allegheny County, the Pittsburgh Public Schools, and PWSA, so that we have an agreement in how we wipe away back taxes and other liens, and then we have agreed upon price of what we would pay when we begin to utilize tariff sale. And I think I've mentioned this last month, but I just want to it's been recommended that we start talking about this as rather than renegotiating the three taxing bodies agreement, that we're thinking of this as independent intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the land bank and the three taxing bodies. So we'll be looking at this slide for a while, and we're really looking forward to working with members and the mayor's office to appoint new board members and be able to negotiate this agreement. And that's, I'll pause for questions, but otherwise we can, it's back to you, Chairman Burgess.
Next order of business, move the slide, is public comment. Again, anyone wishing to speak during public comment, please raise the hand function at the bottom of the webinar control menu. Please begin with your name, address, or neighborhood, or your organization affiliation. Is there any speakers?
We have no new speakers that have joined our attendees section, and I see no hands raised. So it looks like it's safe to say we have no public speakers.
All right. I am grateful for all of your support during my time on the Land Bank Board, especially Dr. Bay, who is also resigning. And so, as they say, old soldiers never die, they just fade away. And that's what a general said. So I think that's what I am. I'm an old soldier. I'm not exactly leaving, I'm just fading away. But I do wish you, all of you, happy holidays for you and your family. Please enjoy in this time the blessings of God and the joy of your family. And please pray for me, as I will always keep you in my heart and continue to pray for you. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. We are adjourned. Be blessed, everybody.